Welcome back, everybody. This is America under Michigan. So, I'm going to talk about Michigan in this episode. I'll briefly talk about that. I'll talk a little bit about some of my thoughts of this whole pandemic here, um, mainly just because uh, I'm watching a lot of things and trying to get an idea of what might happen. And one of those things are going to be what happens after the peak. Okay, what happens after we get over that hump? We flatten the curve. What's going to happen? And the only way I can figure out or get an idea of what's happened or what's going to happen is by understanding what happened. In other words, what happened to China. So a lot of the insights that I have, come from what happened in China. So thank you, China. Thank you, CCP. Thank you, China, China's Communist Party. Thank you for all your insights that you've given the rest of the world, which I'm a little amazed by how a lot of the world leaders are caught off guard. I think it had a lot to do with the way I think there's a lot of misdirection that the Chinese Communist Party portrayed to the world, and I do believe there will be a time where they're going to have to answer. China, CCP, is going to have to answer for all their deception. I do believe it is deception, but seeing what's happening now, we see people rioting. Um, we see food shortages, and the problem in China is that they have a lot of people, like a lot of people, more people than any other country. And they have to, all of a sudden, the government of China, the Chinese Communist Party, has to provide for these billions and billions of people. A lot of them are out of work, running out of money. As far as I know, schools have not reopened in China, so that should tell you a lot. Uh, the Chinese National Congress Party, well, they're not having a party at all. They're not celebrating and partying. So that should tell you another thing. Um, Another issue with the whole Chinese pandemic here is, since a lot of people are not going to work, or limited amounts of people are going to work in China, the supply chain is still disrupted. And so there's a lot of things that are happening. So as long as that goes on, I think everybody else all over the world will have something similar to that. So, and there's evidence of that already. So you see, like, PPE equipment all of a sudden are being um, nationalized. All right, uh, it's not being exported. So PPE equipment, masks, gowns, drugs, um, the materials to make the drugs, pharmaceutical drugs, are now being heavily monitored and not even exported. They're staying in the country of origin, and so everyone is now in every part of the world is in self-preservation. There is a financial, economic downturn, and you're seeing everybody just in self-preservation mode. So that's something to look for. All right, so I'm just want to throw that out there real quick. I'm going to go ahead and jump in the numbers real quick, and we'll talk about Michigan. We'll talk about Michigan. All right. So this has been updated 7 p.m. Total new cases in United States of America. I'm just going to go over America right now. I don't care. I got to deal with the situation that I'm in, and right now I'm monitoring Europe. I'm monitoring Asia, China, Russia, South America, Africa. I'm watching them, but I'm dealing with what I got to deal with here in my front yard. All right. So 300,663, sorry, 366,614 total cases. New cases, a little higher than yesterday, but lower than the most new cases that we had so far. So it's 29,542 new cases. Slightly higher than yesterday's, but definitely lower than the highest daily new cases. So as long as it could stay under 33,000, that is a flattening. That is a flattening. If it can only start going down now, then you've gone over the peak. You've gone over the hump. Total deaths. 10,783 total deaths. Total of 1,164 new deaths today. And I believe, let me see, is that lower than yesterday's? Yes, it is. The deaths are lower than yesterday's death. That is a good sign. COVID.bio, they got their states back. So you can look at the states now. So finally, nice. New York is the epicenter. If you ask me, the new epicenters are places that are around New York, potential new epicenters. New Jersey already being a potential epicenter, and of course, because it's very close to New York, a lot of people live in New Jersey and go to work in New York. Very common. Of course, that little island right there, Manhattan Island, New York City. That's where all the action is, and New Jersey is right next to it. So that would make a lot of sense. So next potential epicenter is Michigan. I'll go over New Jersey. Their data has the projections have changed at the IMHE. Where is it? IHME. Yeah. So I'll go over New Jersey soon enough. So this is what it looks like here. So Michigan is probably the next. How did it go from New York to Michigan? I don't know. It could be just policy. It could be policy. You would think like anywhere in New York, like Connecticut, Massachusetts is possible. But you would think Vermont, anywhere, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is another possibility, but you would think these places would be just like bursting out of the seams with COVID-19, coronavirus, Chinese coronavirus, novel coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2, CCP virus, whatever it's called now. I just can't keep up. I think in history, the historians will just call it the Wuhan flu. All right, the Wuhan flu. Anyways, so we do have some data here. New York cases have gone down. So total of 1,131, 815 cases, but 8,655 new cases today, lower than yesterday. New Jersey has started to go up again, along with the death. The death aren't too bad, but their data, the projections data, has definitely changed. Michigan is probably the next epicenter. Could be the next epicenter. That's something to watch for. Maybe Louisiana, maybe, although I think they're a little over exaggerated in my opinion. So yeah, Louisiana may be a little exaggerated, just a little bit. I mean, I'm not doubting that they're having a breakout like everywhere is having a breakout. Okay, pretty much everywhere is having a breakout or will have a breakout, like a breakout they can't control. So, you know, for whatever reason, everyone's focusing on Louisiana. I do think their death rate is going up higher per 1 million per capita, but um, I don't know. I think Michigan has more of a problem than Louisiana, in my opinion, and just in my opinion. So as you look at, let me see my home state where I am right now. That's where I'm focusing the most, but it it is it's still increasing in number. The deaths are also increasing. I think uh, in my state of Texas, it really is a flattened curve. I think it has a lot to do with the density of the population. Metropolitan areas are obviously going to be hit hard, but the spacing, Texas just has a lot of room. So when it was grown or developed, it developed spread it out. It developed spread out. So and plus, I think a lot of people are heeding the warnings and staying home. Uh, I do believe a lot of people are letting the virus pass over. That is something very important that I think everyone should do. Let the virus pass over, please, please, please. So it's nice to see the states back up here, so you can get some idea of what's happening in each state. By all means, none of this is going to go away. None of this is going to go away. It's just that some of the hardest hit areas, New York, New York City, well, New York is the epicenter right now. New York is basically the Wuhan city in China. Um, that looks like they're peaking out. I hope so. So here is what I was talking about. The highest number confirmed cases overall in America is 33,264. Yesterday I talked about the total new cases being pretty decently less than this amount right here. So 28,222. It is slightly higher, but it's less than 33,000. So it's 29,542 new cases. The death is also starting to flatten out. So the curve seems to be flattening. It's a question of whether it will flatten. Whether it will flatten, and you need time. You need more time. So this is April 6th, 20, April 5th, 20, and April 4th, 20. So before then, the number of cases were basically increasing. And as of this recording is 11:26 p.m., April 6th, 2020. So hopefully you'll see this by April 7th in the morning or whenever I load it. So it's looking good here. It's looking good. This is good news. This is good news. So, all right, back to Worldometer. Let's take a look at this. And oh, by the way, I did get an email from AR500. Thank goodness. They have shipped, or they put a shipping label to send me a shipping label. I think they did send it out. 46 pounds of body armor. Yes, I bought a lot of body armor. I will be making a video. Watch out for that. So thank goodness. Thank goodness. Took long enough. All right, so let's take a look here. So this is now yesterday's case, and now not everybody's reporting in. I got some missing here, but doing this lets me see the difference between it, and you can see that New York had 8,000 cases yesterday. Today they have 7,671. Less new cases. The death is almost the same, 594, 599, kind of a little uptick, but the new cases are lower. which will eventually result in lower death. All right, so that's important. Now, New Jersey is they're starting to tick up. They're starting to tick up. This is yesterday's 71 deaths and 3381 in new cases. Now they have 3585 and 86 new cases. So they're starting to tick up. I'll go over the projections. The projections have changed. The projections have been updated. And Michigan definitely they're upticking. 77 on the death, 110 today, and then 1500. That's today. Yesterday it was 49. I guess they're maintaining, but their death is upticking. I don't know if they're flattening. I think that's more of a pause. I like to see a reduction, not about the same amount of new cases. So I think they're hitting a pause, and depending on how much social distancing they do, they're not in a good place. That's probably really other than New Jersey, the next epicenter is probably Michigan. I don't know if Louisiana is really the next epicenter. Maybe I think they're just, I don't know. We'll have to see. I just don't think there's other epicenters that are probably I'm more worried about than Louisiana, even though they're bordered to Texas. But there you go. There's that. And then let's go to my home state. So this is what I'm looking at. 85. They changed something here. I've noticed that. 85,357 total test. And let me see. Lab confirmed COVID-19 program currently in Texas hospitals. So I guess this is how many patients they have in Texas hospitals. 1,153 patients. So that's probably their active cases that they have. Not bad. It's pretty good. That's pretty good. So I think Texas will handle the load to the healthcare system. But 7,276 reported cases, 140 fatalities. A little bit under they're probably at a 8, somewhere between 8 and 7%. That's pretty good. So as long as they do more testing and they're keeping it below that, I think we're going to be okay. We're not out of the woods by any means, okay? I'm not saying that this is going to go away, by April 20th. It's not going to go away by April 20th. And, it's just, this is not going to go away. This is just the first wave. I'm just happy to see the curve flattening because that's good news. Before it wasn't flattening. It wasn't even peaking. It was just going up every day. It was just going up and up and up. That's not peaking. That's just exponential growth. Ridiculous. And then fatalities and demographics, same. It's 50-50. The gender doesn't matter. Age group, believe it or not, 20 to 59 are the people who are the most infected, and they're most likely the spreaders, the spreaders of the coronavirus. All right, let's get to here. This is a little different. This says 33, but this is ongoing. Let me refresh it. It always continuously updates. So, it says new cases 0. Okay. It was at 30, but I guess it stopped ticking. So they got nothing here. But let's take a look at the death rate. Death rate has gone up. I don't know when they restart. Sorry about that. Let's go to the states. I won't refresh this. This shows 8,000 with 59 deaths. So, but I'm just gonna go with. I'm just gonna go with this. Just go with Johns Hopkins. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with the Johns Hopkins. Okay, just stick with this. It just makes it a little bit easier. Even this one says something different than yesterday and today. So that's what I'm gonna stick with. This updates all the time, and it may not have tracked it from the cutoff time from the other data sources. So But anyways, yeah, death rate is increasing, new death. But I think New Jersey is the one to watch. You know, and then Michigan. I don't know about California. I think California is doing well. They gave up ventilators. Louisiana, I'm not really buying how serious it is. I think it's serious, but um, I think Michigan's more of an issue. Okay, so I said I'll go over Michigan, but let's just go over New Jersey real quick because their peak time has changed now. So this has been updated. There's an update. Let me see. Last update. It says last update April 5th. So they finally updated. New Jersey's projections were just really off for the numbers that was coming on. So they're going to be peaking out April 15th. That's another one to watch, and it's worth watching because New Jersey is right next to New York, and if you got to be careful. Hopefully, everyone's staying at home. There's no travel between the two states, especially around New York City, because really there's two epicenters, in my opinion: New York City and New Jersey. Whatever cities across New York City, um, whatever that is. I'm not from there, but I know there's a bridge that takes you from New York City to New Jersey. Whatever cities in that area, those are the really two epicenters in my opinion. And if you look at the death has changed too. This it didn't even go up to 200. 200's like right here now. It didn't even go up to 200. Now it's gone up to 2600. So there is some range here. It says 10 days until peak. So that would be the 15th. What are they projecting? 513 is what they're projecting with a peak, the peak, this high peak right here of 2,660. So they will have 584 COVID deaths projected on April 16th, supposedly. Let me see what their total comes out to. This was like nothing. This was a couple hundred total deaths. Now all of a sudden it's 9,000, almost 10,000 deaths. It could be more depending on again social behavior. It really does. So that's what I wanted to go over. Let's go over Michigan now. So I pretty much identified New York and New Jersey being epicenters. Where Michigan? There we go. I think this is the third epicenter, Michigan, and they're going to be peaking out in 2 days, supposedly. What is April? Today's April 6th. So 6, 7, 8. That's when they're peaking out here. They have enough beds apparently, but they are short on ICU beds. 3 days to peak. You could look at this. They just peaked up right here, just from 62 to 165 total deaths. What did they April 5th and then April 6th? Let's see. This is today, Michigan, 110. Yesterday, 77. So if I look at that, April 5th, they had 77, so they were a little bit lower. Now they're at 110, so they're actually in projection right here. So they're actually following this projection. So what would they peak at? 190 on April 9th. 190 is when they peak out, but the potential of hitting 853. And then here's the total deaths right here, 2,000. So I think this Michigan is probably the next in line here, although New Jersey has been pushed back, but Michigan is pretty close, and they're worth watching. You gotta see how, in my opinion, you gotta see what's going on in order to understand the appropriate actions that you need to take. And again, that's why I'm very happy I'm getting my body armor here from AR500. As much as I hated the lead time and the waiting time and complained about it, but as soon as I get it, I'm happy. I'm very, very happy. All right, let's I think that's it. That's all I'm gonna do. That's all I'm gonna talk about. Um, I I know I made a video yesterday about the peaking and or the passing, and I am hopeful. It's good to see the first wave kind of starting to break in New York City. But we're not out of the woods. By far, we're not out of the woods. There's other there's other factors that are going to come into play. You got economic factors. You got food shortage factors. You got import export factors, supply chain factors. If you look at China, look what's happening in China. They're panic buying. They're having riots in some places. They're protesting. There is some serious instability going on in China. Okay, and you're gonna probably see China's having uh, a recession, an economic downturn within their own borders. It's not looking good in my opinion for China. So I'm closely watching China, seeing what's happening there. What's going to happen there will most likely happen here. Now that's just the social infrastructure, right? Social collapse. They may still even have a second wave of the coronavirus coming at them. So we're not out of the woods, people. We're not out of the woods. So, anyways, I'm going to end this video. Please like, share, comment. Let me know what you think. Are we out of the woods? I don't think so. Is there more to come? I do think there's more to come. There's economic fallout, social fallout, uh, food supply chain fallout. All right, we're still having supply chain issues. Anyways, like, share, give me a thumbs up. Until next time, bye bye, everybody.